Welcome to Jesus Saves, the place where heaven speaks and your heart listens. Today's message isn't just something to watch. It's something to receive. This is not a sermon. This is a conversation. A divine whisper. A heavenly reminder straight from the heart of God to yours. So wherever you are, whether you're feeling strong or struggling, full of faith or fighting doubt, this moment is for you. Open your heart. Quiet the noise. Let God speak. Let love in. Let's begin.
You woke up today carrying more than just your physical body out of bed. You carried the weight of silent worries, lingering questions, and a quiet longing that you haven't even dared to name. And yet, before you even opened your eyes, I was already there. I was there when the world still slept, watching over you like a devoted father who never leaves his post. I knew you'd wake up with doubts again, that the whispers of yesterday's failures would try to speak louder than today's possibilities. But here I am, not to scold you, not to point at what you didn't do, but to remind you that love, real love, meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. You don't need to earn what I give freely. My love is not wages paid for your perfection. It is the air you breathe, the grace that fills your lungs even when you feel you don't deserve another breath. You might be wondering why you keep stumbling, why the same storms return, why joy seems fleeting while sorrow sits beside you like an old friend. My child, what you call weakness, I call opportunity. An opportunity to show you that your value does not decrease because of your fears or mistakes. You are not less when you cry. You are not disqualified when you doubt. I see your heart. I know every corner, even the parts you've kept hidden behind smiles and polite responses. And still, I choose you. Every day I choose you. Some people have judged you by your past, by decisions they never had the courage to make or the understanding to forgive. But their opinions are not your identity. I am the one who formed you, and I do not make mistakes. You are not an accident. You are not a coincidence. You are a deliberate, divine masterpiece. And yes, I call you that, even if you're surrounded by chaos, even if your life feels anything but holy. I am the calm in your storm. When everything around you shakes, I remain unshakable. When others walk away, I stay. You may have faced nights so dark that you questioned whether morning would ever come. But you're here. You're still standing. And that's not because of luck. That's because of me. You might not remember the last time you truly smiled from your soul, but I do. I was there. I remember the sound of your laughter, not just when you were happy, but when you chose to laugh even though your heart was breaking. That resilience, that flicker of faith still alive within you, that's what I'm breathing life into right now. I'm not asking for you to be fearless. I'm asking you to trust me with your fears. I don't need your perfection. I need your permission. Let me into the places you've blocked off, the wounds you thought were too messy, too painful, too deep for even me. There's no such thing. There's no depth I won't go to reach you. You've heard others say they'd never leave, and then they left. You've been promised loyalty only to be met with betrayal. I know, and I mourned with you. I was there when your tears soaked the pillow, when you looked at the ceiling and whispered, "Why?" I didn't ignore that cry. In fact, it moved my heart so deeply that I set things into motion even then. You didn't see the shift, but it began. And now, slowly but surely, you're being called back to wholeness. This is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a chapter that will make sense of every page that came before. What if I told you that everything you've gone through was not for nothing? That the pain you've endured, the confusion, the delays, the disappointments, they were the soil where something divine is about to bloom? I am not wasting your hurt. I'm transforming it. Every tear you cried watered the roots of a future joy you can't even imagine yet. And while you wait, I wait with you. I am not in a hurry. I am in love. And love waits. Love believes. Love never gives up. So when you feel like you've reached the edge, like you've given all you can give, I gently hold your hand and say, "Let me carry you the rest of the way. You were never meant to walk alone. From the beginning of time, I've dreamed of walking with you, not just during the highlight reels of your life, but through the mundane and the messy. I want to be with you in your kitchen, in your car, at work, when you're overwhelmed by bills or deadlines or heartbreak. There is no space where I do not belong. And if you allow me, I will not only enter, I will transform. I will turn your fear into faith, your stress into strength, your shame into purpose. Not by demanding more from you, but by pouring more of myself into you. This love I offer isn't poetic fluff. It's not a metaphor or a comforting phrase. It's real. It's tangible. It has healed broken hearts, silenced storms, and raised the dead. And it's available to you right now. Not when you get your life together. Not when you feel worthy. Now, as you are. Because I am not ashamed of you. I am not disappointed in you. I'm proud of the fight in you. I'm proud of your soft heart in a harsh world. I'm proud that even though you've been hurt, you haven't become bitter. I see your courage. I honor it. And I'm here to multiply it. So today, don't shrink back. Don't let fear be your compass. Let love lead. Let me lead. The road ahead may still have some turns, but you're not navigating it alone anymore. You've tried your way, and I've let you, because love does not control. But now I invite you, try mine. Let's walk together, you and I, one step at a time, one breath at a time. I know the way. I am the way. And if you trust me, truly trust me, we won't just arrive somewhere safe. We'll arrive somewhere sacred. Somewhere that looks nothing like what you've lost and everything like what you've longed for. Just take my hand. The journey starts here. There's a moment, maybe it already passed today, when you looked at yourself and questioned whether anything about you is truly special. You've heard compliments before, perhaps even believed them once, but lately they've just felt like words. Pretty sentences that can't seem to drown out the noise inside. That internal dialogue, that harsh voice you've mistakenly called truth, has tried to convince you that you are falling behind, that you are not enough, that if you were more, life would be different. But I am here now to interrupt that noise, to silence the lies. Because when I look at you, I don't see someone late to their purpose or failing to measure up. I see someone deeply beloved. I see someone who has survived things they never speak of and still wakes up to try again. That kind of strength cannot be fabricated. It is forged in the fire of real life. And I honor it. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need applause to be valuable. I know the version of you that no one else does, the one who cries quietly while still holding everything together for others. I see the tears you wipe away in silence so no one will ask questions. But I ask not because I need the answer, but because I long for connection. I ask you how you're doing because I care. I want to carry the weight you've been dragging, the burdens that have made your spirit weary. You weren't designed to carry all this alone. And though the world tells you to stay strong, I tell you this, it's also strong to rest. It's also strength when you pause, admit you're tired, and allow yourself to be carried. Let me carry you. Let me lift that anxiety off your shoulders. You keep trying to fix everything all at once, and it's breaking you. But I never asked you to fix everything. I asked you to trust me. You don't have to see how it all unfolds to know that I'm unfolding it. You don't have to understand how I'll provide to be certain that I will. My love is not theoretical. It is not based on probability. It is a certainty, and you can rest in that certainty even when nothing else makes sense. There are doors I'm opening right now on your behalf. You don't see them yet, but they're swinging wide with blessing. Don't mistake silence for absence. Just because you can't hear me moving doesn't mean I'm not at work. Sometimes I whisper through stillness. Sometimes I shout through the unexpected. But I never stop speaking, never stop working, never stop loving. And I know the path hasn't been easy. You've questioned not just my plan, but your worth inside it. I've watched you try to make sense of why good things take so long and why pain visits so often. But hear me when I say this, delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. What you see as a detour is often my protection. What you feel is rejection may be my redirection. I'm not keeping things from you to punish you. I'm preparing things for you because I care too much to give you anything before it's time. You've grown in this season even if you didn't want to. You've become more resilient, more aware, more compassionate. And those traits, they're not just admirable, they're divine. Do you remember how many nights you thought you wouldn't make it through? Yet here you are. That alone is evidence of my presence. When you feel like giving up, remember who's holding you. Remember who caught every tear and turned them into seeds for the future you're walking into. Your faith hasn't been in vain. Even your smallest acts of obedience, your whispered prayers through tears, your yes when you were scared to believe, all of it has been seen. Not one moment was wasted, and I'm bringing it all together. Every thread you thought was frayed beyond repair is being woven into something breathtaking. You don't have to understand why some people left or why some dreams seem to die. I saw their exit and I made sure you'd survive it. I'm the reason your heart kept beating when it was shattered. I'm the reason hope still lingers even when logic tells you to give up. That isn't delusion. That's me. That's my spirit inside you, whispering, keep going. This isn't the end. You've questioned your purpose, wondering if it's too late or if you somehow missed it. But you haven't missed anything. If you're still breathing, purpose is still alive. And not only is it alive, it's unfolding. Even now, with each word you hear, purpose awakens. You think too small sometimes. You dream with hesitation, as if the size of your hope might intimidate me. It won't. I gave you that dream. I placed that vision in your soul. And I don't do things halfway. If I started it in you, I will complete it. But I need you to stop sabotaging what I'm building. Stop comparing your timeline to others. Stop measuring your journey with someone else's ruler. What I'm doing in your life is unique, specific, handcrafted with love and eternal intention. You're not behind, you're being prepared. You're not overlooked, you're being refined. You're not forgotten, you're being shaped for glory. So today, instead of rehearsing your doubts, rehearse my promises. Instead of replaying the voices that told you you're not enough, replay my voice that says, you are mine. You are not a mistake, not a burden, not a failure. You are my child, chosen and deeply cherished. I don't just tolerate you, I delight in you. When you speak to me, I listen with the attention of a father who treasures every word. When you struggle, I'm already strategizing your rescue. When you rejoice, I rejoice louder than heaven's choirs. I'm not distant. I'm not indifferent. I am here, and I am for you. So lift your head. Even if life feels heavy, even if today looks the same as yesterday, lift your head. Because something is shifting. Not because circumstances have changed yet, but because your heart is starting to trust again. That trust, it's your greatest weapon. It's what moves mountains and parts seas. And it's what will carry you into the fullness of what I've promised. You don't have to fake joy or manufacture peace. You just need to lean into me, and I'll give you both. Not the kind that disappears when life is hard, but the kind that endures, sustains, and outlasts every storm. You're not alone. You've never been, and you never will be. There's something I need you to realize right now, something more important than any circumstance you're facing. You are not defined by what has happened to you, not by the words spoken over you in anger, not by the silence that followed after they left, not by the job you lost, the opportunity that vanished, or the mistakes you wish you could erase. None of those things can rewrite your worth in my eyes. They are chapters, not conclusions. They are pieces of a greater mosaic that I am carefully putting together with hands of mercy and eyes that see beyond what you can comprehend. You look at your scars and call them flaws. I look at your scars and call them proof. Proof that you've lived, that you've endured, that you've kept going when quitting looked easier. There's beauty in that kind of survival. There's holiness in that kind of strength. And I know you've grown tired of pretending. You've worn a brave face while your heart quietly cracked under the pressure. You've smiled when all you wanted was to disappear. But I see you. I've always seen you. I watched you help others even when you needed help yourself. I watched you love when it hurt, forgive when it was unfair, and give when you had little left to offer. Don't think for a second that any of that went unnoticed. Your sacrifices are sacred. Your efforts are not forgotten. Heaven keeps record of what earth overlooks. And I, your God, remember every unseen act of courage. You may not feel strong right now. That's okay. I'm not looking for your strength. I'm offering you mine. I never asked you to carry the weight of the world. That's my job. I'm not expecting you to have it all figured out. That's why I've given you my spirit, to comfort you, to guide you, to fill the spaces where your own ability falls short. I am the God who turns weakness into wonder, sorrow into song, and pain into power. What feels like the end is often the doorway to something divine. And that door is opening. But I need you to look at yourself differently. I need you to stop rehearsing what went wrong and start proclaiming what I've said is right. I need you to shift from self-judgment to self-compassion. You've been harder on yourself than I ever have. You've believed lies that shame whispered into your soul. Lies that said you're too broken to be used, too late to be chosen, too flawed to be favored. But if you only knew how I see you, if only you could catch a glimpse of your reflection in my eyes that see through eternity, you'd never doubt again. You'd stop apologizing for your presence and start walking with authority. Because when you belong to me, you carry my name, my power, and my promise. This world has a way of convincing you that your value comes from performance, productivity, perfection. But I've never required any of those things. I created you for connection, not competition. I placed you in this time and this space because you are needed here, now, exactly as you are. You weren't late. You weren't born into the wrong story. You are not an afterthought. You're part of something bigger, something eternal. You carry within you a purpose that no one else can fulfill. And no failure, no rejection, no delay has canceled that assignment. So stop looking back and regretting what didn't work out. Start looking forward and trusting that I'm already there, waiting in the moments you haven't lived yet, preparing blessings that will make sense of every unanswered prayer. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from grace. That's the foundation I build on. And what I build can't be shaken. Not by disappointment, not by fear, not by the opinions of people who never saw your heart clearly. I know sometimes you feel like you're the only one struggling. Everyone else seems so sure, so confident, so put together. But appearances are illusions. I look beyond what people present and into what they carry. And I can tell you this, you're not the only one fighting quiet battles. But you are one of the few who keep fighting with faith. And that faith, it moves me. It stirs heaven. Even when it's small, even when it's fragile, it has power because it is anchored in me. And I never fail. You've told yourself, maybe it's too late for me. You've wondered if you've missed too many signs, ignored too many nudges, walked away from too many moments of calling. But let me be clear. It's never too late when I'm involved. Time does not limit me. Your past does not disqualify you. In fact, the very things you think ruined your story may be the very reasons others will find hope in yours. Redemption is my specialty. Restoration is my signature. I don't just rewrite stories, I resurrect them. So stand up. Not just physically, but in your spirit. Rise. Even if you feel shaky. Even if you're still unsure. Stand on what I've said, not on what you feel. Let my word be your compass. Let my love be your confidence. You don't have to know how it will all turn out. You just need to know that I'm with you. That alone changes everything. That alone gives you reason to breathe, to move, to believe again. I haven't brought you this far just to abandon you now. I've invested too much, loved too much, waited too patiently to leave you unfinished. There's more coming, more healing, more peace, more opportunity, more clarity. You've been walking through fog, but the light is breaking through. You're beginning to see not just what you lost, but what you've gained. Wisdom, empathy, resilience, and those are gifts that will shape the way you lead, love, and live moving forward. You don't need to go back to who you were. That version of you served its purpose, but I'm doing something new. You don't need to fit into old expectations. You're being called into something greater. Trust that. And as you move forward, I'll be whispering truth into the quiet corners of your soul. You are loved. You are safe. You are chosen. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are mine. Let those words root deep inside of you. Let them replace every lie that tried to break you. Let them be the anthem that carries you into this next season. Because where we're going together will be worth every tear, every delay, every moment you almost gave up. Just keep walking with me. I've got you. You've been waiting for something to shift, haven't you? A breakthrough, a sign, a confirmation that all your waiting hasn't been in vain. You've carried hope in your heart like a fragile candle in a storm, shielding its flicker against winds of doubt, waves of fear, and voices that said it's time to give up. But listen to me now, hope was never meant to be strong on its own. It draws its strength from what it's anchored to. And your hope, whether you've realized it or not, has been tethered to me all along. You've felt it, in the silence between prayers, in the ache that lingers after disappointment, in the quiet determination to get back up again. That's me, pulling you forward when everything in you wanted to stop. That's my grace, quietly and persistently working beneath the surface, refusing to let your story end in despair. You may think you've been stuck, spinning your wheels in a cycle of frustration and unmet expectations, but what you've called stuck has actually been a season of sacred preparation. Not punishment, not abandonment, preparation. I have been equipping you in ways you couldn't perceive. You've been learning to discern, to endure, to surrender. These are not passive traits. They are the tools of the spiritually mature, the weapons of the faithful. And they are being forged in you for a reason, because what's coming next will require not just vision but strength, not just excitement but stability. And I would rather you be delayed and prepared than early and destroyed. You have been asking me to open new doors, to bring new relationships, to bless new opportunities. And I will. But understand this, before I release the new, I always restore what is true. And that starts with you. I am restoring your heart, your trust, your clarity. I'm healing the pieces of you that you didn't even know were wounded. I'm removing the residue of past disappointments so they don't poison the blessings I'm about to place in your hands. Because a bitter heart can't enjoy a sweet gift. A restless soul can't settle into peace. I'm not just working for you, I'm working in you. And the work I begin, I complete. There will be moments ahead where you'll feel the weight of responsibility increase. Not because I want to burden you, but because I'm expanding your capacity. Just like a tree must stretch deeper roots before it bears greater fruit, you too must grow deeper before you reach higher. So when you feel the strain, don't assume something is wrong. Understand it means growth is happening. You're being strengthened to sustain the blessing, not just receive it. Because I'm not interested in giving you momentary success. I want you to live in lasting impact. I want your life to echo beyond your time, to leave fingerprints of faith in the lives of those you touch. You weren't made just to survive, you were made to lead, to influence, to shine. I see the way you've doubted yourself. You look at others and think they're more equipped, more spiritual, more deserving. But what you don't see is that I don't call the qualified, I qualify the called. And you, my beloved, are called. Not when you feel holy, not when everything is going right. Right now, with your questions, with your hesitations, with your hidden fears and your guarded heart. I still call you, not because you're ready, but because I'm ready to walk with you. And I will never walk away. You're going to face moments where the pressure feels unfair, where you're tempted to retreat into safety, to shrink so you don't stand out, to downplay your light so others feel more comfortable. But I didn't give you light to hide it. I didn't anoint you to keep you anonymous. You were meant to shine, to reflect my glory, to speak my words, to move in my power. Don't apologize for the anointing on your life. Don't water down your voice to fit into rooms I never called you to belong in. Stand in your authority, not pridefully, but boldly, knowing that the same Spirit who raised Christ from the dead lives in you, breathes through you, and empowers you to be everything I created you to be. You're going to be misunderstood, even rejected. Not everyone will see what I see in you. Not everyone will celebrate your growth. Some will distance themselves when your healing starts to expose their own wounds. Don't take it personally. Some doors close because your calling can't fit through with the crowd you used to run with. That's not loss. That's alignment. I will surround you with those who see your heart, who speak life, who walk with purpose. Trust me with your circle. I'm not just giving you support, I'm giving you strategy. People who won't just cheer for you, but pray with you, fight for you, and walk beside you into the destiny I've prepared. This next season will not be like the last. You won't have to force open doors. You won't have to beg for love, for validation, for belonging. What I send your way will be attracted to the real you, the healed you, the authentic you, the you that finally believes you're worthy because I said so. I'm teaching you to rest in your identity, not run from it. To stand in your truth, not perform for approval. I want you to know that who you are right now is already enough. Not because you've earned it, but because I've spoken it. And my word is final. So let this be the moment where the narrative changes. Where you stop chasing what the world calls success and start receiving what I call sacred. Let this be the moment you stop shrinking and start stepping into who you've always been. My child, my chosen, my beloved. There's a new boldness rising in you, a deeper peace, a quieter confidence. And it's not manufactured by hype. It's rooted in me. It's rooted in the truth that you don't walk alone, you don't fight alone, and you don't rise alone. I am with you, always. You've looked at the mirror some days and wondered where your fire went. You remember a time when your soul felt lighter, when laughter came quicker, when dreams felt closer. But lately, life has felt heavy. You've smiled out of habit, pushed forward out of necessity, and told others you're okay, even when your spirit whispered otherwise. And I've seen all of it, not from a distance, from right beside you. I was there when your faith felt full, and I'm here now when it feels like you're running on empty. I never left, not when you doubted, not when you withdrew, not even when you felt angry at me. My love doesn't flinch when you wrestle. My presence doesn't vanish when you question. I stay, always. I stay when others walk away. I stay when your strength fails. I stay when your mind spins with anxiety, trying to make sense of what's happening around you. And I'm here right now, not with judgment, but with gentleness, ready to remind you who you are and why I'm not done with you yet. You've prayed for answers, for change, for relief, and I've heard every single word. Even the ones you couldn't speak, even the ones that came out in sighs and tears. I don't require eloquence, I respond to honesty. And I want you to know that your prayers are not bouncing off the ceiling. They are being held in my hands. They are being woven into the timeline of your life in ways that will one day leave you speechless. You may not see what's happening behind the scenes, but believe me, I'm orchestrating miracles. Not just the kind that shift external situations, but the kind that shift you. Because sometimes the greatest answer to your prayer is not the removal of the storm, but the birth of peace within it. Not the escape from the valley, but the strength to rise while walking through it. There is more within you than you realize. You see your limitations. I see your potential. You notice your weakness. I call out your resilience. You're harder on yourself than I am. You count your failures. I count your growth. I've never asked you to be perfect, only to be present. Present with me, present in the process, present in the moment where you stop pretending and start allowing me to meet you right where you are. Because I don't love a future version of you. I love you right now, in the in-between, in the rebuilding, in the becoming. You are not just tolerated, you are treasured. My love for you is not conditional upon your progress. It's rooted in my character, not your performance. And my character is unchanging. There are promises over your life that will not expire. Promises I whispered into your heart long ago. And just because the journey has taken longer than you expected doesn't mean I've changed my mind. Delay does not equal denial. And even if others have forgotten what I placed in you, I haven't. I am still the same God who called you, the same God who sustained you through the nights you thought would break you, the same God who placed vision in your spirit when the world told you to settle, the same God who knows exactly how to turn every valley into a victory. I am not just the God of the beginning, I'm the God of the middle and the end, too. And I finish what I start. You've asked me for a sign. And while I've given many through people, through peace, through unexpected encouragement, I want you to know that sometimes the clearest sign is your own resilience. The fact that you're still here, still listening, still trying. That's evidence of grace. You could have given up, but something in you kept going. That something is me. I've held you together when everything else seemed to fall apart. I've protected your heart when it was too fragile to stand alone. And I will keep doing that. Not just because I'm able, but because I'm willing. Because I care. Deeply. Personally. Eternally. You've walked through fire. You've been wounded by words, by abandonment, by betrayal. and you've learned how to function with broken pieces, how to move forward while limping inside. But I don't want you to just survive. I want you to be whole. I'm not afraid of your wounds. I touch the places others avoided. I see the scars and call them sacred, because they tell a story of someone who didn't quit. Someone who still believed, even when believing hurt. Someone who, though weary, didn't let go of the hope that something more was possible. And that hope, it was not misplaced. Because what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you. I know there's a part of you that wonders if it's too late. If too much time has passed, too many wrong turns taken. But let me remind you, I don't operate on human timelines. I don't measure your worth by speed or comparison. I redeem time. I restore years. I bring beauty from ashes. And I do it in ways that the world can't explain. You may have lost something in the last season, but you haven't lost me. And if you have me, you have access to everything you truly need. Peace, joy, direction, favor, restoration, provision, purpose. It's all in me. So stay close. Keep trusting. Keep moving forward even if your steps are small. Because your small steps in faith are opening large doors of blessing. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are positioned, prepared, protected. The enemy has tried to convince you otherwise, to wear you down with discouragement and doubt. But I'm here to silence those lies with truth. You were created on purpose. You are equipped for impact. You are anointed to rise. You are loved beyond comprehension. And nothing, not even your darkest day, can separate you from that love. So breathe, be still. Let your soul soak in these words. Let them root deeply and push out the fear that's tried to settle. Let them be a melody louder than the noise. Because when I speak, darkness trembles. And I am speaking now, over you, into you, through you. You're going to be okay. Not because everything will be perfect, but because you'll be perfectly held. Not because there will be no storms, but because the one who calms storms walks with you. And you're going to look back and see the season not as you're breaking, but as you're becoming. So keep going. Keep trusting. I've got you. There are moments when the silence feels heavier than the noise ever did. You sit with your thoughts, and they echo louder than you'd like, asking questions you don't have answers for, raising doubts you thought you'd already overcome. And in that stillness, it's easy to wonder if I've gone quiet too. If perhaps your voice has grown too faint to reach me, or if I've moved on to someone more deserving. But I haven't gone anywhere. I am not absent in the silence. I am in the silence. I am the one holding you together when everything else seems to fall apart. And I am speaking, not in thunder or flashing light, but in the quiet breath that keeps you going, in the strength that shows up right when you're ready to give up, in the peace that finds you in the middle of your panic. You've gotten so good at surviving that you've started calling it living. You've learned how to move while feeling stuck, how to speak while feeling numb, how to carry others even while your own soul feels empty. But I want more for you than survival. I created you for fullness, for joy, for overflow. I created you to laugh without faking it, to rest without guilt, to walk through life not just enduring but thriving. And no, that doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean you'll no longer carry it all alone. You were never meant to, and if you let me, I'll begin to lift things from your heart that you thought were permanent. I'll heal the wounds that became part of your personality, the heaviness that became part of your identity. Because I'm not just changing your circumstances, I'm transforming you. There are things you've lost that still sting, friendships that faded without explanation, dreams that dissolved without warning, seasons that shifted without your consent. And while others may tell you to move on, I won't rush you. I sit with you in the grief. I hold your hand through the heartbreak. I know what it means to be misunderstood, to be rejected, to love and not be loved in return. I felt every ache you've tried to hide. And I want you to know, your heart is safe with me. I won't break it. I won't dismiss your pain. I won't tell you to pretend it doesn't hurt. I'll simply stay, and I'll heal you, slowly, thoroughly, faithfully, until what once made you weep becomes the very place where joy begins to rise again. You've tried to stay strong, and I admire that. But strength doesn't always look like pushing through. Sometimes strength looks like surrender. Sometimes it looks like laying everything down at my feet and saying, I don't know how to fix this. And that's where I come in. Not as a distant deity waiting for you to get it together, but as a father who runs toward you the moment you turn my way. I am not put off by your mess. I am not intimidated by your weakness. I move in close and I stay. I don't need you to have all the answers, I just need your yes. Your willingness to trust me even when you don't understand me. Because faith isn't certainty. Faith is choosing to believe I'm good, even when life doesn't feel that way yet. There is purpose in the pause. There is power in the stillness. You've been looking for progress, for results, for external signs of growth. But I've been working in the unseen, in the places no one claps for but heaven celebrates. You've grown in wisdom. You've grown in empathy. You've grown in patience. And those things matter deeply to me. I'm not just preparing a destination. I'm preparing you to carry it when it arrives. Because what's coming is bigger than you thought. It's not just a blessing for you. It's through you. I'm going to use your life to bring healing, light, and truth to places that have forgotten what hope looks like. You won't just tell people I'm real. They'll see it on your face, in your peace, in your gentleness, in your strength that doesn't shout, but lifts others anyway. And I know what you're afraid of. You're afraid that if you hope too much, you'll be disappointed again. That if you open your heart, it might break again. But let me tell you this, I am not like the ones who hurt you. I don't abandon. I don't lie. I don't play games with your soul. My promises are not bait. They are covenants. What I say, I will do. What I begin, I will finish. So breathe again. Dream again. Open your heart again. Let joy find its way back to the places grief tried to claim. Let peace take root in the soil where anxiety once thrived. This isn't false hope. This is a divine reset. I'm redeeming what felt lost. I'm restoring what was taken. I'm reviving what you thought had died. And as you move forward, know this, you don't have to wait to feel brave to start walking. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move anyway. And you will move, not with exhaustion, but with momentum. Not with pressure, but with purpose. The wind of my spirit is rising behind you. Doors are opening, not because you forced them, but because you were faithful. Because you stayed. Because you kept showing up even when it was hard. That has not gone unnoticed. And now reward is coming, not as a transaction, but as a response to your trust. Let your hands release what was never yours to carry. Let your heart breathe again. Let your soul exhale. Because the one who began this journey with you is still here, walking every step, carrying every burden, whispering in every silence. I love you. I see you. I am for you, and I am with you always. You keep waiting for the moment everything will feel right again. For the weight to lift, for the questions to quiet, for life to finally feel light. You tell yourself that once things settle, you'll breathe deeper. Once answers come, you'll sleep easier. Once the breakthrough arrives, you'll rejoice freely. But what if I told you that you don't have to wait for everything to be right to start living in peace? What if you could breathe now? Not because your circumstances are perfect, but because you finally decided to rest in the truth that I am here, and I am enough. Peace doesn't come when everything is still. It comes when you stop running from the pain, from the pressure, from your own heart. I don't want you to outrun your life. I want you to live it, fully, honestly, bravely. I'm not here to hurry you along or force you into healing. I'm here to walk with you into it. Healing is not a race. It's a relationship, and I'm in it with you for the long haul. I won't rush your heart into wholeness. I'll love it there, slowly, faithfully, tenderly, until your soul no longer flinches at what once triggered panic, until your thoughts no longer spiral toward shame, until your breath comes easy and your steps grow steady again. I see how often you've tried to measure your progress, to determine whether you're better yet, to check your emotions against someone else's timeline. But let me be clear, you are not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. You are not failing just because you're still feeling. The tears you cry are not setbacks. They're signals that your heart is still alive, still soft, still open. That matters more to me than any accomplishment ever could. You don't need to impress me. You need to trust me. And trusting me doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you let me in when you do. You've spent so long trying to keep it all together, to prove you're strong, to make sure no one sees how much it's hurting. But I see it. I've always seen it. And I need you to know, it's okay to fall apart in my presence. You don't have to be polished for me to hold you. You don't have to be fine for me to be close. I'm not repelled by your brokenness. I'm drawn to it. My power is made perfect in your weakness, not your performance. My love shines brightest when you let me into the places you've hidden. When you stop pretending, that's where true freedom begins. You've heard people say, let go and let God. But letting go isn't just an action. It's an act of surrender. It's releasing the outcome you tried to control. It's laying down the fear that's been driving your decisions. It's unclenching your fists, taking a deep breath, and whispering, even this, I trust you with even this. And when you do that, something shifts. Not always externally at first, but internally, where peace is born, where faith grows, where hope takes root again. Let me take care of the things you've tried to carry on your own for far too long. The regrets that echo when it gets quiet. The guilt that lingers even though you've been forgiven. The anxiety that creeps in when you're trying to sleep. I know the weight of your past. I know the heaviness of your heart. And I'm not holding it against you. I'm holding it with you until you're ready to release it. And when you do, you'll realize that you were never meant to be the hero of your story. I am. And I rescue in ways you'd never expect. Through rest, through presence, through grace that keeps showing up long after you feel like you deserve it. You've tried to find worth in so many things. Achievement, relationships, approval, but I've already called you worthy. You don't need to earn what I've already declared. The moment I breathed life into you, I gave you value that no failure can cancel and no success can increase. That's what makes you free. You can stop striving now. You can stop hustling for a seat at tables I never asked you to sit at. You belong to me. That's your identity. And from that identity flows purpose, not performance-based, but presence-based. You don't work for love. You work from it. You don't seek validation, you already have it. This freedom I give you, it's real. It's deeper than the kind that depends on good days. It sustains you in the storms. It anchors you when your mind is racing. It gives you the strength to look at everything you've walked through and say, it didn't destroy me. It gives you the courage to look forward and say, even if I don't know what's next, I'm not afraid, because perfect love casts out fear. And my love for you is perfect, unchanging, unshaken, undeniable. There will always be voices competing for your attention. Some will tell you to work harder. Some will tell you to give up. Some will remind you of every flaw, every failure, every moment you wish you could forget. But if you'll listen closely, beneath all that noise, you'll hear mine. Steady, gentle, true, saying, you're still mine. I haven't changed my mind. I haven't given up. I haven't walked away. I never will. Let that voice be louder than the others. Let it be the one that leads you when you're lost, that lifts you when you're low, that strengthens you when you feel too weak to continue. Because I'm not just a comfort in the chaos. I'm the creator of peace. I don't just speak encouragement. I speak identity. And I say you are chosen. You are cherished. You are carried. Not just today, every day. So come back to me not with fear, but with confidence. You don't need to hide your pain. I can handle it. You don't need to hide your questions. I welcome them. You don't need to hide your heart. I'm the safest place for it. Just bring me you, as you are, in this moment, because that's the version I love most. Not the polished one, the present one, the real one, the one who's still here, still fighting, still hoping. That one. There's something you've forgotten lately, not because you're careless, but because life has been loud. You've forgotten how resilient your spirit truly is. You've forgotten that the storms you've walked through didn't just pass over you, they passed through you, and yet here you are, still breathing, still hoping, still believing, even if only in quiet, flickering ways. The world has tried to convince you that your fragility makes you weak, but I say otherwise. I see your tenderness, your sensitivity, your ability to feel deeply, and I call it sacred. I designed your heart that way for a reason. You were never meant to grow numb. You were made to feel, to love, to carry compassion that cuts through cruelty. Even when it hurts. Even when you're tempted to shut it all off and build walls just to stay safe. But you don't have to harden to be strong. You don't have to pretend not to care. I made you with intention, and your sensitivity is not a flaw, it's a feature of heaven. Your ability to be moved by injustice, to weep over what's broken, to celebrate beauty in even the smallest things, that is divine. You've called it weakness because it's gone unrecognized, unprotected, and at times misunderstood. But I see it for what it is, a mirror of my own heart. You reflect me more than you know, and the world needs that reflection now more than ever. You've been wrestling with the pace of your life, wondering if you're too slow to catch up, too late to make a difference. But let me be clear, I don't measure speed, I measure surrender. And you, beloved, have surrendered more than most ever see. I saw the moments you let go of control, even when it terrified you. I saw you trust me even when it felt like you were walking blind. I saw you choose kindness over retaliation. I saw you forgive when you had every reason not to. I saw you try again when the last attempt left you in tears. That is the kind of strength that shakes the heavens. That is the kind of faith that moves mountains. You don't need to hustle to win my approval. You already have it. You don't need to earn my attention. I gave it freely the moment I dreamed you into existence. There has never been a moment I've looked away. Not once. Even when you thought I was silent. Even when you felt unworthy. Even when you drifted. I remained. I always do. Because my love for you doesn't fluctuate with your feelings or failures. It is constant. Like the rising of the sun. Like the tide that never forgets to return. Even when you run from me, I run toward you. Even when your voice shakes with uncertainty, I hear it with joy. I know your heart. I know your thoughts before you speak them. And still I stay. Not because you're perfect, but because you're mine. There's healing I want to bring, not just to your body, but to your memories. To the places your mind returns when it's quiet. To the echoes of moments that didn't end the way you hoped. You've carried those scenes for so long that they've started to shape how you see yourself. But I want to rewrite those narratives. I want to show you the truth behind the pain. That you were never abandoned. That I wept with you. That what you thought was the end was a beginning in disguise. You don't have to relive it to be defined by it. Let me take those moments, those heavy memories, and breathe something new into them. Redemption is not just erasing the past. It's transforming its meaning. And as I redeem, I restore. I am restoring the joy you thought was gone for good. I am restoring your desire to dream. You were made to dream big. I planted vision in your heart not to frustrate you, but to fuel you. The dreams you've buried under fear or fatigue, they still live. I see them. I've kept them safe. And now I'm breathing life into them again. Not so you'll strive harder, but so you'll step forward in trust. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from grace. And grace will take you further than striving ever could. You've heard the whispers of doubt tell you to stay small, that you'll fail, that you're not ready. But I am the one who qualifies the called, not the other way around. I placed this calling in you with full knowledge of your past, your limitations, your hesitations. I am not surprised by your fears. I factored them in. And still I say go. Speak, build, create, love, shine. Not because you feel fearless, but because I am with you. And where I am, fear loses its power. The world may not applaud your obedience. The people around you may not always understand your quiet faithfulness. But I see it, and I celebrate it. Every hidden act of kindness. Every prayer whispered through tears. Every time you chose patience. Every moment you said yes to me when no one else noticed. I noticed, and I rejoice over it. I rejoice over you, not for what you do but for who you are. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not left behind. You are seen, you are loved, you are wanted. Not someday, now. So breathe deep. You're not behind. You're right on time for what I've planned. And what I've planned is beautiful, purposeful, abundant. I'm leading you step by step, not into performance, but into presence. Not into perfection, but into peace. Stay close, stay soft, stay open, because I'm not done. In fact, I'm just getting started. You've been waiting for something to confirm you're on the right path. A voice, a sign, a moment that reassures you you're not just wandering in circles. And here I am, not just to reassure you, but to remind you that your steps have not been wasted. Even the ones that felt wrong, even the ones that led you into struggle, even the ones that brought you to tears. I've been using all of them to bring you closer to something deeper. You think in straight lines, but I lead in layers. My direction often looks like detours to those who don't know my heart. But I've never lost sight of where I'm taking you. I'm not improvising your journey. I'm orchestrating it. Carefully, lovingly, perfectly. You wonder sometimes if you've missed it. If one decision, one delay, one distraction has somehow closed the door on what could have been. But let me make this clear. You are not powerful enough to cancel what I've declared over your life. Your mistakes do not outrun my mercy. Your detours do not override my design. What I begin, I complete. What I promise, I fulfill. I didn't choose you because of your perfect record. I chose you because of your open heart. And that's still enough. You haven't missed your moment. You're in the middle of it, even now, even here. You may not see how the pieces fit together, but I do. Every delay has grown your discernment. Every no has protected you. Every silence has invited you deeper. I have not been punishing you. I've been preparing you. And I know preparation feels lonely. It feels like everyone else is moving forward while you stand still. But in stillness, roots grow. In silence, strength is formed. You don't need to catch up. You need to trust. I'm not pacing you against others. I'm pacing you against purpose. And purpose has never been about popularity or speed. It's about surrender. You've been walking with a heart that still remembers what it feels like to be overlooked. You carry the echoes of past rejections, and they've made you question your value. You've been trying to unlearn the lies, to silence the voices that said you weren't enough. And that is sacred work. But let me speak above them now. You are enough. Because I am enough in you. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are not too broken. You are my beloved, my chosen, my vessel. I know the real you, the one behind the masks, the one beneath the striving, and I love that you. Fully, freely, unshakably. You've been looking at your life and wondering if you'll ever feel truly fulfilled. You've reached milestones that should have brought joy, but somehow the joy was fleeting. That's not because you're ungrateful. It's because you were made for more than surface success. You were made for meaning, and that meaning flows not from what you accomplish, but from who you walk with. Me. I am the source of the joy that lasts, the peace that stays, the love that doesn't change based on performance. When you stay rooted in me, you will bloom, not with pressure, but with peace. There's something else you need to hear. You don't have to wait until you feel whole to start being a light. Some of my brightest lights were still healing when they started shining. You don't have to have all the answers to carry truth. You don't have to be fearless to walk in faith. You don't have to feel worthy to say yes to what I'm calling you into. I use willing hearts, not perfect ones. And your willingness is more powerful than you realize. It's the doorway through which I pour my presence into this world. There are people assigned to your voice. People who will never hear about my love unless you speak. People whose hearts are waiting for someone real, someone honest, someone who doesn't pretend to have it all together, but still believes. You are that someone, not someday. Now, don't underestimate the impact of one conversation, one act of kindness, one quiet decision to keep showing up. The ripples from your obedience reach farther than you'll ever see. That's why I need you to keep going. Not because I demand it, but because I've designed you for it. There is legacy in your yes. There is healing in your courage. There is power in your presence when it's filled with me. You've looked at others and wondered why their journey seems smoother, why the doors open faster, why the results come easier. But I need you to remember, your journey is not about competition. It's about completion. I'm not comparing you. I'm cultivating you. The deep work I'm doing in you is producing something eternal. Don't trade that for temporary applause. Don't let the noise of the world drown out the whisper of purpose. You are not forgotten. You are being forged. And I know it's not easy. I know your faith has felt fragile some days. I know the waiting has worn down your hope. I know you've cried when no one else saw, and prayed prayers that felt unanswered. But I've heard every single one, and none of them were wasted. They are planted in the soil of your soul, and the harvest is coming. Don't give up now. You're closer than you think. What I've prepared for you will make the tears make sense. What's ahead will reveal why the past didn't work out the way you wanted. I was never withholding, I was building. I wasn't absent, I was authoring. And the chapter you're stepping into next is going to feel like coming home. So rest your heart. Breathe deep. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to rush. You just have to keep walking. Step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment with me. I'm not just guiding your journey. I am the journey, the peace, the promise, the prize. And I'm with you, forever. There is a version of your life that you've started to believe is out of reach. A version where you are free not just externally, but in the quiet spaces of your soul. A version where the weight you've carried for so long no longer defines you. A version where peace is not a passing moment, but a permanent posture. And even if it feels far now, even if disappointment has whispered that it's too late, I need you to hear me clearly. That life is not lost. It is not too late. You have not missed it. It is still unfolding, and I am the one unfolding it. You've let circumstances convince you that your story is on pause, but I have never stopped writing. Every season you've lived through, every silence you've endured, every detour that didn't make sense, it has all been ink on the page of something beautiful I am creating. You don't need to see the entire story to know that I'm still the author. You've asked me for answers, for signs, for breakthroughs, and I hear those prayers. But more than fixing things around you, I long to restore things within you. That is where the true miracle begins. In the places no one else sees. In the thoughts you're too afraid to share. In the aching, unspoken questions about your worth, your future, your belonging. I'm not ignoring your circumstances. I'm addressing the root. Because I love you too much to only treat symptoms. I want to heal the core. I want to show you that your value was never tied to how much you could do, how well you could perform, or how many people approved of you. Your worth has always been in the simple, holy fact that you are mine. You've spent so much time trying to be strong for others, showing up with a smile, keeping things together, pouring out love when you barely had any left to give. And I've watched you do it. I've seen your quiet sacrifices, your silent endurance, your attempts to stay hopeful even when your soul was tired. None of that is lost on me. I hold every moment like a treasure. And now it's time for you to receive. Not because you earned it, but because I'm good. Because I love to give. Because I see how empty your cup has become and I don't expect you to pour from it anymore. I'm here to fill it, overflow it, restore what has been poured out. There are seasons for giving and there are seasons for receiving. You have entered a time where I want you to receive my presence, my peace, my strength, my provision. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to fight for it. Just come, sit, breathe. Let me serve your soul. Let me remind you what it feels like to be still and loved, without needing to perform or produce. I didn't ask you to save the world. I asked you to stay close. From that closeness, everything else flows. And when you move from intimacy, not insecurity, you become unstoppable, not because of your own might, but because you're carried by me. There is nothing I won't do to reach your heart. I've moved mountains you didn't see, cleared paths you didn't recognize, and fought battles you didn't know you were in. I've protected you from things that could have broken you. I've delayed things you thought you needed because I knew they'd rob you of what truly matters. I've said no when you cried for yes because I saw the pain behind that answer. I've allowed you to wait, not because I'm cruel, but because I was preparing something better than what you would have settled for. And even now, in the midst of questions, I am working. Quietly, faithfully, always. You've thought that maybe you're not spiritual enough, not holy enough, not faithful enough to receive all that I've promised. But you've misunderstood grace. Grace is not a reward for performance. It's a gift to the humble. It flows to the surrendered. covers the weak. It uplifts the doubting. It embraces the wandering. And grace is yours, right now, in full measure. You don't have to earn your place with me. You already have it. You are not a guest in my presence. You are family, a beloved child. You can stop apologizing for your existence. You can stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built for your calling. I made room for you in this world with intention. You belong here, and you matter more than you realize. There is a courage I am awakening in you. Not loud, not forceful, but steady and enduring. A courage that speaks with gentleness, walks in compassion, and leads without fear. You won't have to pretend anymore. You won't have to hide behind masks that exhaust your soul. You are going to step into rooms with confidence, not because of what you wear or how impressive your resume is, but because you know who goes with you. I go with you into every conversation, every decision, every moment of uncertainty. I will give you the words. I will give you the wisdom. I will give you the peace. Just ask and I will answer. Just pause and I will speak. Just be still, and I will surround you with a presence that nothing can rival. You feared the unknown because it's dark. But what if I told you it's not dark to me? What if I told you I've already walked through your future and prepared a place for your joy to bloom again? You won't always feel lost. You won't always feel behind. You are right on time for the next beautiful thing I'm doing in your life. And even if you can't see it yet, you can trust that it's coming. Because I said so. Because I never lie. Because my promises are not poetic. They are prophetic. They are declarations of what will be. And I have declared peace over your life. I have declared restoration. I have declared goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. So come back to peace. Not just once, but daily. Let it be the place you begin from, not the reward you chase. Let it steady you when emotions rise and remind you that you are held, safe, chosen. You are loved with a love that doesn't change with your moods or mistakes. A love that calls you deeper, not to demand more, but to reveal that I've already given you everything. My spirit, my presence, my attention, my heart, and I offer them again today without condition. You've been holding your breath for far too long. Spiritually, emotionally, even physically, waiting for the next thing to go wrong, the next shoe to drop, the next disappointment to confirm what fear has been whispering. That maybe joy isn't safe. That maybe hope is too fragile. That maybe peace is just a moment between the storms. But I need you to know this. You were not made to brace for pain. You were made to breathe in promise. I never intended for you to walk through life clenched in worry, constantly scanning the horizon for what might go wrong. I designed you to walk in communion, to walk with me, step by step, without fear of what lies ahead. Not because you'll always know the path, but because you'll always know who's leading. You've been waiting for peace to appear like a reward, as if it's something you must earn after proving your faith. But peace isn't a prize. It's a person, and I am that person. I am peace, and where I am, fear has no place. I haven't called you to fight for peace. I've called you to receive it, like breath, like light, like warmth on your face after a long night. You don't need to strive to be worthy of it. You only need to sit, let go, and say yes to the truth that you are already loved, already held, already covered. I see the battles you've fought behind the scenes, the ones that no one claps for because no one knows they exist. The internal wars, the mental heaviness, the emotional fatigue, the spiritual weariness. I see you trying to hold your faith like it's slipping through your fingers, and I need you to know, it's not your grip on me that's keeping you. It's mine on you. You don't need to hold me tighter to be safe. You need only to remember that I will never let you go. Even when your faith feels small. Even when your strength is gone. Even when you're unsure if you can keep going. I can. I will. And I am, for you. This season you're in, it's not a punishment. It's a preparation. You've mistaken the quiet for abandonment. But I've been nearer in the silence than you ever realized. I've been speaking. Not in loud declarations, but in whispers that train your spirit to listen deeper. I've been working, not in ways the world applauds, but in the sacred, hidden places where roots grow strong enough to carry the weight of what's coming. I'm not rushing you because I'm not interested in quick fruit. I'm building something that will last. I'm building you. You've asked me to open doors, and I will. But first, I'm opening your heart. Not to expose it, but to expand it. Because what I'm bringing into your life will require more capacity. For joy, for faith, for love, for influence. You won't be able to contain what I pour out if you're still carrying old pain, old fear, old patterns that kept you small. So I'm gently pruning, not to punish, but to prepare. You're not being broken, you're being made whole. You've seen others flourish and wondered why it hasn't happened for you. You've questioned if I've forgotten your name. But I never compare my children. I customize them. What I'm doing in you is different. Because what I'm building through you is unique. I don't copy destinies. I create them from eternity. And yours is full of beauty, full of impact, full of divine intention. Just because the world hasn't applauded it doesn't mean heaven hasn't ordained it. I know there have been moments where you felt exhausted by faith. You've prayed and fasted, hoped and waited, and still felt like nothing changed. But don't confuse delay with denial. What you planted in faith has not died. It's been buried in holy timing. And when it breaks through, it will be more than you expected. Not because of your performance, but because of my faithfulness. I am not in a hurry, but I am always on time. And in the meantime, I want you to live, not just wait. Don't postpone joy until the blessing arrives. Don't put peace on hold until the breakthrough comes. Find me here now, in this moment, in the ordinary, in the unnoticed, because I am present in it all. I am not waiting for you at the destination. I am journeying with you every step of the way, and there is glory in the steps. There is growth in the process. There is grace in the middle. You don't need to impress me. I didn't call you because you were impressive. I called you because I loved you, before you did anything right, before you proved anything to anyone. I called you because I saw what others couldn't, the treasure inside you, the calling within you, the anointing over you. You don't need to manufacture greatness. You only need to make room. Room for me to move, room for me to speak, room for me to transform the places in you that you thought were too far gone. Nothing is too far gone for me. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is impossible. And certainly you are not beyond the reach of redemption. So stop disqualifying yourself from what I've already qualified you for. Stop replaying your worst moments as if they define your future. Stop shrinking back from the fullness I've placed in you. This world needs what I've planted in your spirit. It needs your honesty, your courage, your tenderness, your fire. Don't hold back. Don't hide. Don't edit who you are to make others comfortable. You were never called to fit in. You were called to carry the atmosphere of heaven. And yes, that calling comes with opposition. But I will never let you face it alone. I am surrounding you with favor, with wisdom, with strength you didn't know you had. I'm sending people who will lift your arms when you're weary, voices who will remind you of the truth when lies try to steal your peace. You are not isolated, you are insulated, covered, kept, guarded, not just by angels, but by my word, by my promises, by my love that does not quit. So breathe again, rest again, hope again, laugh again. You have permission to enjoy life even while the process continues. You have permission to be human, to grow, to learn, to fall and rise again. I never asked you to be flawless. I only asked you to be faithful. And you are, more than you know. You are doing better than you think. And I am so proud of you, not because of what you've accomplished, but because of what you've endured, because of who you've become while no one was watching. You've gotten so used to survival that thriving feels foreign. Somewhere along the way, the joy you once dreamed about started to feel like a luxury, something reserved for people with fewer scars, lighter burdens, smoother stories. You've convinced yourself that peace is for another version of you, maybe a future one, maybe a better one. But I need you to know peace is for this version. Right here, right now. Not because your life is finally in order, not because you've mastered your emotions, not because the answers have arrived, but because I have. I've stepped into this moment with you, and where I am, healing flows freely. You don't need a perfect season to experience real joy. You don't need to arrive before I meet you. I I don't wait at the finish line. I walk with you every step, even the ones you take with trembling legs and hesitant faith. You've held grief in places no one knows. You've smiled while silently negotiating with pain. You've been strong for others in ways that left you depleted, empty, aching for someone to simply notice you, not for what you do, but for who you are. And I do. I see the you beneath the roles, beneath the responsibilities, beneath the exhaustion. I see the heart that's tried to stay tender even after it's been bruised by disappointment. I see the light in your soul that refuses to go out, even when everything around you feels dark. And I'm not just watching, I'm restoring, from the inside out, not just patching up holes, but rebuilding foundations. I'm not interested in a quick fix. I'm in this to heal you fully, deeply, eternally. You've wondered if you're allowed to hope again. You've been betrayed by hope before, let down by what you thought would be a breakthrough, disappointed by what you thought would be a promise fulfilled. And that pain has made you cautious. You hold your dreams like glass now, afraid to lift them too high in case they fall again. But I never asked you to protect your hope. I asked you to place it in me. I don't drop what you give me. I don't shatter what you entrust to my hands. I'm not fragile, and neither is your future. The hope I give doesn't just wish, it anchors. And that anchor is what's holding you steady, even when you think you're barely hanging on. There is still beauty ahead. Not recycled, not forced, not borrowed from someone else's life, but designed uniquely for you. Beauty that fits your story. Grace that speaks directly to the wounds you thought would never heal. Provision that finds you in the exact place you were convinced had been forgotten. I am not late. I am intentional, and my timing is wrapped in mercy. You think you needed it to happen back then, but I saw what you didn't. You weren't being denied, you were being protected. You weren't being passed over, you were being prepared. I don't rush good things. I grow them. So let go of the timeline you made for yourself. Let go of the pressure to prove you're doing better. Let go of the narrative that says you need to be somewhere else by now. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not stuck. You are right in the middle of grace doing its quiet, faithful work. Every breath you take in surrender is progress. Every moment you pause and choose to trust instead of panic is victory. Every time you say yes to me, even in weakness, the kingdom moves through you. You may feel unseen, but heaven is watching, and not from afar. I lean in close. I whisper when others shout. I reach when others walk away. You've asked for confirmation, for clarity, for assurance that you haven't been forgotten, and I give it now. You are not forgotten. You are formed. You are not overlooked. You are overloved. I know your name, your fears, your dreams, your questions, and I love every part of you, even the ones you're still learning to love yourself. There is no area of your life I'm unwilling to touch. I don't avoid the mess. I don't ignore the ache. I enter the places you've kept hidden. I enter with healing, with kindness, with wisdom that transforms everything it touches. You don't need to be afraid of what I'll find. I already know, and I'm still here. My love has never been based on your performance. It's based on my character. And my character is unchanging, faithful, abundant, forever good. So bring me the questions you're scared to ask. Bring me the moments you're ashamed to remember. Bring me the dreams you buried under the weight of reality. I can handle it. I'm not tired of your process. I'm not disappointed in your delay. I'm delighted by your desire to stay close. Even when your faith feels small, it's enough. Because I'm the one who makes it grow. I'm the one who finishes what I start. And I'm not finished with you, not even close. You will see goodness again. You will feel joy without guilt. You will rise not just back to where you were, but beyond it. Because I don't recycle your old strength. I build new strength. I don't return you to what was. I launch you into what can be. What's ahead of you will not look like what you've lost. It will carry the fingerprints of redemption, the fragrance of heaven, the fullness of everything I've been forming in you through every season of waiting. So hold your head high, not because of pride, but because of promise. Speak life, even if your voice shakes. Walk forward, even if your knees still remember what it felt like to fall. You are rising, not alone, not in your own power, but with me. I'm holding your story. I'm guiding your steps. I'm lifting your heart. You're not late. You're not lost. You're being led by love itself. You've walked through enough darkness to believe that light is a rare thing, something fleeting, something too fragile to last. You've braced yourself for loss even in moments of joy, as if good things must always come with strings attached. You've learned how to celebrate quietly, cautiously, like someone who's been disappointed too many times to let hope get loud. But I need you to hear me now. Joy was never meant to be rationed. You don't have to apologize for wanting more. You don't have to tiptoe around blessing, as if your pain somehow disqualifies you from experiencing peace. You don't have to rehearse how things might go wrong. You are allowed to expect goodness. You are allowed to feel safe. You are allowed to breathe without fear. I never asked you to be on guard against my promises. I asked you to trust them. I didn't give you joy to tease you with it. I gave it to sustain you, to remind you of who I am, even when life doesn't make sense. You've believed in a version of faith that requires you to be somber, serious, guarded, but I'm restoring the faith that dances, the faith that laughs again, the faith that worships not out of duty but delight, the kind of faith that doesn't flinch at the future because it knows who holds it. I want to bring that faith alive in you again, not because everything is easy, but because you're no longer doing it alone. You've been carrying stories inside your heart that you've never shared. Stories that feel too messy, too confusing, too unresolved to speak aloud. And I want you to know I already know them all. Every chapter, every detail. I was there for every word, every moment. And I haven't distanced myself from you because of it. I've drawn closer. There is nothing about your past that makes you unworthy of the future I've planned. I'm not afraid of your honesty. I welcome it, because honesty is the birthplace of healing. I don't want the filtered version of your prayers. I want the real ones, the raw ones, the ones that tremble with doubt but still reach for me in the dark. And yes, there is more. More life, more purpose, more beauty. Not because you're striving for it, but because I am good. Not in theory, in reality. I am not just holy, I am kind. I am not just sovereign, I am close. And I'm proving that kindness to you, not through spectacular signs, but through steady nearness, through quiet provision, through small breakthroughs that lead to great freedom. I'm not always in the earthquake. Sometimes I'm in the whisper, and I'm whispering now, you are safe. You are seen. You are still my favorite story. You've been asking me if the season will ever end, if the heaviness will lift, if the answers will come. And while I may not give you every explanation, I will give you this assurance. I am working even now. There are doors being opened for you that you haven't even knocked on. There are connections being formed that will bring clarity you never expected. There are assignments with your name on them, waiting not for your perfection, but for your yes. Your obedience is not wasted. Your waiting is not forgotten. And your heartache is not the end. It's the beginning of something sacred. You've wondered if your voice matters, if your words hold weight, if anything you do makes a difference. And my answer is yes. 1,000 times yes. You may not see the impact with your eyes, but eternity sees it clearly. Every act of kindness, every step of integrity, every prayer you've prayed when no one was watching, they echo in heaven. They shape the atmosphere around you. You are not invisible. You are not background to someone else's story. You are central to mine. And the world is better because you're in it. Not when you're perfect, but now, exactly as you are. You've been trying to heal yourself, fix yourself, prove yourself. But healing doesn't happen through effort. It happens through encounter. So let me encounter you again. In the quiet, in the stillness, in the moment where you finally stop running long enough to realize I've been chasing you. Not to scold, but to embrace. Not to demand, but to delight. My greatest joy is being with you. Not what you bring, not what you accomplish, just you. And that's something no one can take away. So stop disqualifying yourself. Stop second-guessing the call. Stop assuming you're too much or not enough. You are exactly what I need you to be, for this season, this place, these people. And I will give you everything you need to walk it out. You won't be alone. You won't be empty. You won't be overwhelmed, because I'm filling the gaps. I'm holding the pieces. I'm carrying what you can't. And I'm doing it gladly, not out of obligation, but out of love. Let go of the fear that tells you it's all up to you. Let go of the lie that says you have to figure it all out. Let go of the shame that tells you you've wasted too much time. You are not behind, you're right on time for what I'm doing. My grace doesn't run on a human schedule. My mercy doesn't check a clock. I restore years in moments. I redeem seasons in seconds. And I'm doing that now. Even here, even in this, you can laugh again. You can breathe again. You can trust again. Because I am not just repairing your hope, I'm rebuilding your foundation. And this time it won't shake. This time it won't break. Because I'm building it myself. And everything I build stands. You've spent so much time trying to be strong that you've forgotten what it feels like to simply be. To rest without guilt. To breathe without pressure. To exist without constantly feeling like you need to earn your place. But I never asked you to carry that weight. I never asked you to prove your worth through exhaustion. You are not valuable because of what you produce. You are valuable because of who you are, mine. And that truth doesn't shift with seasons, mistakes, or the opinions of others. It doesn't fade when you're tired. It doesn't disappear when you feel overwhelmed. It remains, unshaken, undeniable. You've tried to keep everything together. You've been the strong one, the dependable one, the one people turn to when their world falls apart. And while I've seen your strength, I also see the places where you're weary. I see the moments where you wish someone would show up for you the way you've shown up for everyone else. And I want you to know, I am that someone. I've always been. I've been the arms beneath you when no one noticed you were falling. I've been the quiet voice of comfort when your soul was screaming in silence. I've been the one standing beside you while others walked away. I never left, and I never will. You think too much depends on you, that if you don't keep moving, it'll all fall apart. But there's freedom in knowing that you are not the foundation I am. And I don't crack under pressure. I don't buckle under uncertainty. I am the rock that does not move, and I've placed you on me. Not so you can carry everything, but so you can rest in the one who already has. You've forgotten what rest feels like because you've been running on survival. But I'm inviting you back, not to do more, but to come closer, to let me be the peace you've been chasing, to let me be the strength you've been pretending to have. There's more to your story than what you've lived so far. There's more to your calling than what you've seen. You've only tasted a glimpse of what I've placed within you. And the reason you feel this holy discomfort, this tug in your spirit, this hunger for something deeper, it's not random. It's me, calling you into more. Not more work, not more striving, but more me, more presence, more clarity, more courage, because you're ready. Even if you don't feel ready, you've been prepared for this moment through every unseen sacrifice, every quiet act of obedience, every private surrender that no one celebrated but heaven never forgot. You think you're behind, but I say you're becoming. You think you've failed, but I say you've been formed. The fire you walked through didn't burn you. It refined you. The storm you survived didn't ruin you. It revealed you. You are stronger than you know. Not because you forced yourself to be, but because I've been your strength all along. Every time you thought you couldn't go further and yet somehow did, that was me holding you. Every moment you felt like falling apart but stayed standing, that was grace. Not your grit. Grace. And grace is still carrying you. I know the wounds you hide, the disappointments that sit quietly beneath your prayers, the unspoken fears that wake you in the middle of the night. You've convinced yourself that maybe you shouldn't feel this way, that maybe you should have moved on by now, that maybe faith means never feeling broken. But faith was never about denial. Faith is choosing to trust me with the pieces. Faith is not pretending to be fine. Faith is placing your pain in my hands and saying, even this, Lord, even this, and I receive it all. I hold it all. I redeem it all. You've asked me to bring you into a new season, and I will. But first, I want to bring you into a new mindset. One that no longer waits for peace to be proven, but believes it's promised. One that no longer fears what could go wrong, but expects what I said will go right. I want you to see the future not through the lens of past trauma, but through the lens of present truth. You are no longer who you were, and you are not going back. I am doing a new thing. Can you feel it? Even now in the quiet, even now in the waiting, it's beginning. Right here in your heart, right now in your spirit. There is territory ahead that only your feet are meant to walk. There are lives ahead that only your voice is meant to reach. And you won't have to perform to get there. You'll walk in, not through striving, but through surrender. Not through noise, but through knowing. Because when you know who you are, and more importantly, whose you are, you stop chasing validation and start moving in authority. You stop fearing failure and start flowing in favor. You stop trying to earn love and start receiving it as your inheritance. You're not just surviving this season, you're stepping into something sacred. You're stepping into wholeness, into boldness, into a trust so deep it silences every lie and rewrites every fear. This isn't about hype. It's about healing. This isn't about trying harder. It's about coming closer. This is what I've wanted all along. Not just your obedience, but your heart. Not just your worship, but your presence. And now I have it. And that changes everything. So lift your eyes again. Lift your hands again. Lift your hopes again. Not because you know exactly what's ahead, but because you know exactly who walks with you into it. I will not leave you. I will not forget you. I will not let this be wasted. Everything the enemy meant for harm, I'm turning to healing. Every tear you cried in private, I'm turning into oil for anointing. Every delay, I'm redeeming with destiny. And what comes next will not only bless you, it will ripple through generations. Because I do not bless in pieces. I bless in overflow. You've come this far not by accident but by intention. Every step, every stumble, every time you felt like quitting but didn't, it was all seen, all counted, all held in my hands. You didn't just survive this journey, you grew through it. You didn't just make it through the fire, you came out refined. And now, you're standing on holy ground, not because the ground itself is different, but because you are. You've changed. You've been transformed not in a flash of glory, but in the slow, faithful, everyday choosing of me over fear, of hope over despair, of love over numbness. That matters more than you know. You've seen seasons come and go, dreams rise and fall, people enter and exit your life. And through it all you've asked, what's the point? The point is you. Not what you could produce, not how perfect you could become, but you, your heart, your life, your story, intertwined with mine. I didn't rescue you just to use you. I rescued you because I love you. I delight in you. I chose you before you knew how to choose me back. And I'm still choosing you now. There has never been a second when my heart turned away. Even in your darkest moments, I remained. Even when your grip on me loosened, I held on. You've believed the lie that maybe you missed it, that maybe the best was already behind you. But I am the God who saves the best for last. I'm not done writing your story. I'm not running out of miracles. I'm not reusing blessings left over from someone else's life. I'm creating something tailor-made for you. A future filled with peace, not because life is perfect, but because I am present. A future marked by grace, not earned, but given. A future full of purpose, not vague or far off, but near, unfolding, alive inside your everyday choices. And yes, I know the future can still feel scary. You've known disappointment. You've experienced the ache of unanswered prayers, of silent nights, of unfulfilled expectations. But I need you to understand something deep in your spirit. None of it was wasted. Not one tear, not one delay, not one prayer you thought went unheard. I was in the waiting. I was in the silence. I was in the pause. Because what I build well. I'm not interested in rushed results. I'm interested in real transformation, in depth, in authenticity, in roots that grow so deep that nothing can shake what's being born in you. You are not fragile. You are resilient not because of willpower, but because my spirit lives in you. You are not abandoned. You are accompanied by my presence, my favor, my protection. You are not forgotten. You are remembered daily, moment by moment, in the halls of heaven where your name is spoken in love, not in judgment. The world may have overlooked you, but I never have. I saw you before you were formed, and I see you now. Still worthy, still chosen, still mine. And now, you're entering into a season of clarity. You will begin to understand why it had to be this way, why some doors never opened, why some people couldn't stay, why some prayers were answered in ways you didn't expect. You will begin to see the thread of grace that has been running through your life, weaving redemption into every chapter. You will walk lighter, speak braver, love deeper, not because you finally figured it all out, but because you finally trusted me enough to surrender what you can't control. You won't need to chase peace anymore. It will follow you, settle in you, flow from you. You won't need to prove anything. Your life will speak without words. Your presence will shift rooms, not by noise, but by stillness, by the undeniable evidence of someone who has been with me, someone who has been healed in private, someone who has been faithful in obscurity, someone who has learned how to receive, not just perform. You are ready, not because everything is perfect, but because you've allowed yourself to be shaped in the hands of the potter. You are ready to carry joy, not the shallow kind that disappears when things go wrong, but the deep, anchored joy that holds you steady through any storm. You are ready to release fear, not because fear won't knock, but because you now know who answers the door. You are ready to walk in purpose, not to earn identity, but to express it, not to chase applause, but to reflect glory. So as you take the next step, take it with peace. You are not stepping into the unknown. You're stepping into what I've already seen, already prepared, already called good. And wherever you go, whatever comes next, I am already there. I go before you. I stand beside you. I remain within you. You don't need to carry the whole journey. Just walk with me. That's all I ever asked. That's where the miracles happen, in the walking, in the trusting, in the being with me. And finally, I need you to believe this one thing. You are ready to receive everything I've been preparing for you. Not later, not after you fix more things. Now, as you are, with open hands, with a heart that still beats even after all it's been through. You've made it here to this moment, and this moment matters. Because from here we begin again, not with fear, but with faith. Not with striving, but with stillness. Not with anxiety, but with assurance. The story isn't ending, it's unfolding, and the best truly is yet to come.
If these words touched you, it's because they were meant for you. God has not forgotten you. He's just getting started. This isn't the end of the message. It's the beginning of a deeper relationship. So don't rush away. Sit with it. Pray through it. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you are loved. You are chosen. You are His. Until next time, keep walking in grace. Keep trusting His timing. And stay close to His voice. Subscribe to Jesus Saves for more messages from heaven, right when you need them most. God bless you.